Okay, this has been an interesting video to put together with the changes in the 2025 version of the software from the previous version we had. I basically had to go back and redo this whole project for this week and next week. But anyway, this is what it's going to look like when you're finished with this week's project. Um, we're gonna import a CAD drawing that has no elevation to it, and then we're going to sketch to create our site plan and our topo solid. If you watch through the tutorial videos, I showed two different ways, or I talked about two different ways of doing things. One where we imported a CAD drawing and then created a topo surface from that based on elevations of the contour lines. Well, this time, which is really common for what you would see in residential type stuff, is we have an AutoCAD drawing that is in 2D. There is no elevation to it whatsoever. And if we look at it here, you can see everything is flat. Okay, which this would be similar if you got I don't know, like a PDF or even a JPEG image or something like that, and you just bring it into AutoCAD and you scale it to make it life size. You just have to figure out what scale that would be, and then you just bring it in and trace it. Okay, so I'm going to close AutoCAD down, and let's go here. I'm gonna close this so I don't get confused with what I've got going on with multiple things open. So let's start with a new template from the default template there. Now, before we go any further with it, let's make a few changes to our project settings. So let's go to Manage and come here to Project Units, and we want to change length. Uh, it can be, let's just go with feet, to 2 decimal places, and then we're going to say suppress trailing zeros. Unit symbol. Yeah, we can. Let's pull that in. Okay. And this, because we're going to create the site plan as a separate file. And so we want all of our stuff to be in feet, no inches. So let's say OK. All that's OK. So we'll say OK to that. Now let's go to one of our elevations, and we're going to create a level. Architecture level. Okay. And now I'm gonna rename this as CAD. Have my cap locks on. CAD import. And I'll change the elevation to 150 feet. And my reason for that is I want to put the CAD import up above everything I'm going to be working on. Okay. And so now you notice with this new version, it doesn't automatically create a floor plan for you. So we're going to create a floor plan for that, or a plan view. We go CAD import. All right. And so there we are. We can close level 1. Okay, so now we're going to bring in our site. Let's see, I'm looking at my notes. Okay, so let's go to Insert, Import CAD, and navigate to where you downloaded the AutoCAD file. And it's called Plot Plan. Let's see, colors, we can preserve colors. We'll bring all layers. There's a bunch of layers in there that we're not going to use, but just keep them all simple. We'll leave it all. We'll go manual center, and we're going to put it on the CAD import level. And we'll say OK. And then oh, I didn't change my view range. So let's make sure that imported is checked. OK. And let's go to view range. And let's set all of these at unlimited. And there we go. Now, just for giggles, let's open our site plan and make sure it's there. Okay. So the site plan is where we're going to be working at. Okay. Got that inserted. Okay. So we're going to create the boundary first because you remember that's how this one works. So we'll go topo solid, create from sketch. And we're gonna do a couple of different things here. So our boundary line, we're gonna start with pick line, and let's go with the 102 level here. Let's see if I hold down tab. Well, that no, can't hold tab. So we'll just have to go through and pick every one. Okay, and now we want to draw some lines that are outside of everything we've got going on here. Okay, and so I've got that boundary picked. Now let's come over here and edit our type right here. And on our structure, we want to uncheck variable thickness, because if I leave that checked, it puts the bottom of that earth structure at level 1, which means we're going to end up with 100 feet of dirt. Okay, so we'll leave that at unchecked variable, and it'll just be half a foot thick all the way through. And we'll leave the rest of this kind of stuff the way it is. And so we'll say OK there. And contour display, yeah, we can leave those the way they are. Okay. And we'll say OK. And let's create it. All right. Now, the problem is that topo solid is at 0 elevation. So if I look here at my elevation, you can see it's down here on level 1. So we are going to have to add some points to it. And this is going to be like really crazy to start with. So we're going to go add points, absolute, and we're going to say 102. And then we're going to come through and pick all of these points across the 102, or I guess you could have gone through and just edited the values. Okay. And to simplify matters, let's come up here. Well, I'll tell you what, we'll do like 105. We just have to zoom in and find it. So this is the 105 line right here. So we might, and as you're working through there, you'll see the lines that will snap from the CAD drawing. And then we just want to continue that on out. Okay, and so you can see it pretty closely takes care of the 103 and the 104. You're going to want to go back in and do those to clean them up. So that was 105. Let's go to let's do 107. Okay. There's another 107 up here, right here. So I'm gonna start there and come down. And the reason I'm kind of jumping on these is it cleans out a lot of the other contour lines. And then if you come through here, you do 108, which comes around this way. And then there's some individual points in here for 109. Another one down here. And then you'll need to put in oh, so I didn't change that. I need some 108s in there. Okay. Okay, so that got a lot of them kind of cleared up, and we'll go back and look at our 3D view. Yeah, I still need to clean that one up. Um, but that just took care of our 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 grassland up here. Across this bottom part right here, we've got some sandy beach and then some water. So let's create another topo solid, and we want to let's duplicate one. Let's go here and go edit type, duplicate, and let's say sand 8-inch. And we'll go structure that we can delete here. Come down here, let's see, sand. So it'll just be gray and then render. Okay. Don't want it to be gray. Let's kind of go beigey a little bit with it. Okay. Not variable. Okay. Contour, it's not going to matter on the contours. That was weird. Well, let's see what happens if we don't. Oh, because that was a path. That's why. Well, let's cancel that. And let's come back. Let's come back to our grassland and duplicate that. And I guess we could leave some earth under it, but okay. Contour display, we'll leave all that the same. Okay. And then okay. And we'll go pick lines. And I'm going to start with the edge of this 102. And I'm going to do the basically, well, the my recording audio went weird on me again right in the middle of this video, so I had to cut it in half and start over again. I cleaned up some of my contour lines here, extended out the 107, drew the 108, and added some more 109 points to get a smooth transition across there. Next, we're going to create another two more topo surfaces. Come on, don't crash on me. From a sketch, we're going to do the sand down here, and I created this in the last video. I don't know if that was before it got cut off, but I duplicated the grassland, okay, and I edited it and just gave it, 8 inches. I guess I should change that, huh? 0.67 feet of sand, okay, and for some reason it's not, doesn't have a render appearance, or maybe it's just not showing well. That could be because I'm not on fine. Anyway, so I want to go pick lines, and I'm going to pick the 100 and the 102. Just to save time, I'm not going to go all the way across this thing. And then I'll draw a line. And I think if I do height, no, I can't remember if I did that. Let's try it. I don't know how it looked. Let's see how it works. Line must be in closed loops. Oh, I've got right here, these don't join. There. Okay, so let's go 3D and look at that. Okay, so uh, I guess we're 8 inches low. Let's, that was kind of weird because I told that at 100. Oh, because I haven't gone through and put in my site elevations yet. So let's go back and do that. So we'll select that and go add some points. Ooh, yeah, that's why I didn't do that. That's got to stay at 0 because when we add in our elevation points, it gets really weird. Okay, so absolute elevation of 102, and I just need to go through and click everything down the 102 line, and then we'll change it to 100. Okay, let's see how that looks. That looks better. Okay, and so you're going to do all the way across here, and then I want you to do another topo surface down here below the 100, um, and it will just be the water, 36 inches deep, and it'll be 100 feet all the way around. And I think when I was practicing with it, I did change the height offset level to 100 for that. Um, and then that worked fine for that. Okay, for the water. All right, so next, let's put in property lines. And we're going to create by sketching, and we're going to pick lines because that's these lines right here. Ooh, pick. And the only problem is we're going to have to clean up the corners because the corners don't match or they don't close automatically. Okay, and then while we're dealing with property lines, let's go ahead and annotate those. And you may have to load the property tag, which is in annotations and civil. Okay, and let's do our contour labels. And 109 picked up there. We've got 109. Okay. All right. So that got those. Let's do some trees. I like these scarlet oak 42 feet. They're kind of a big tree, so we'll put those in. On those places, you can add a couple of shrubs around the house would be fine. Let's take a look here. Okay. Now let's do our roadway. And so we'll select our topo surface and we're going to go subdivide. And we're going to pick lines. Remember, if I cursor over it, press the tab key, it'll pick up the whole chain, or it should. And then we need to draw some lines to bring it out. Or, let's try this. Let's just go pick line there. Oh, yeah, this will work. And then we'll trim corners. And when you trim the corner, you got to be sure and click like inside there. And we're going to change this material to asphalt. And I want the asphalt pavement, and it shows up down here when you first load this. So you would click the arrow to load it up into here. That's a nice dark colored asphalt. Okay, and then we'll create the concrete driveway in the same way. So we'll go subdivide and pick lines, tab, and then I'm gonna individually pick those and trim the corners. What? Let me cancel that. That was weird. I guess I didn't hit trim. So subdivide, pick lines, and then trim corners. And let's change that to concrete. We'll just go with cast in place gray and say OK. All right, and let's look at our 3D view. That's looking good. Back to our site plan. Okay, so now we've got this in. Let's hide our CAD file. And we need to bring in a north arrow. So annotate, symbol. Okay, this thing, the audio crapped on me again while I was doing this. Okay, so I finished where the problem came in. I was putting in the north arrow. The north arrow 1 looks better. So if when you go to place it, if you'll load the family and bring in that north arrow 1. I pretty much think that's, I'll have to go back and look at the video after I get done with this, but I think that had everything done. You want to bring in a sheet, create a new sheet, bring in your title block that you created earlier in the class, number it A002, name it site plan, put your name in for author, and then in the project information, put in your issue date. I'm just using today's date while I'm doing the video. Client name, project name. I did weeks 13 and 14, and that's what it puts across here. And that should be that. And what you'll do is you'll export a PDF of this file, and that's what you're going to turn in the Dropbox. And in this particular case, it's okay. I want you to leave this as shaded. I don't necessarily think don't do realistic. That's just too much graphics. But just leave it as shaded, and then that's what you'll turn in.